cruel this Wednesday, just reading the numbers. Joe Biden is the most unpopular president that the United States has had in a very long time. And voters dislike Kamala Harris even more. And that's a problem because this is supposed to be the new administration's honeymoon period, the part where everyone thinks they're great. So it's not getting better from here. This is as below as the Biden administration is going to get. Smart Democrats can read the numbers, they understand this, and they're working on a solution. This week, two of them wrote a piece in the Wall Street Journal calling on the party to support Hillary Clinton for president in 2024. Hillary is the best positioned candidate to win a national election, they argued. She's also, they noted, younger than Joe Biden. Former President Bill Clinton agrees with this, or says he does anyway. Bill Clinton told People magazine that his wife is, quote, the most qualified person to run for office in my lifetime, including me. In fact, failing to elect Hillary in 2016 was, in Bill Clinton's studied estimation, an historic national tragedy. Quote, one of the most profound mistakes we've ever made. Jesus Christ. Unforgivable, really. The good news is we now have a chance to correct that mistake.
I would say,
and you don't get those very.
Nominating her was one of the biggest mistakes this country's ever made. I'll agree with
that. Yeah, maybe that's what Bill was referring to.
No.
Often in life. Typically, when you do something rash or stupid, you've got to live with the consequences. It's probably happened to you. One night you're listening to Born to Run after too many drinks. The next thing you know, you've got Bruce Springsteen's face tattooed on your lower back. It's embarrassing. It's also permanent. Think of Hillary Clinton as America's national tattoo remover. She alone can erase the stain of our youthful bad judgment. God bless that woman. But wait a second, you say. Hillary can't win. She's yesterday's candidate. This country's got a short attention span. We want the new thing. And Hillary Clinton isn't new. She's been around forever. We're bored of her. Well, if you believe that, you don't remember Hillary Clinton very well. Call her what you will, but she's not boring. Hillary's like a box of Cracker Jacks or your emotionally volatile niece who goes to art school. She's full of surprises. You never know what you're going to get. There are days when Hillary seems like a sensible Midwestern Methodist who grew up Republican in a suburb outside Chicago.
Yeah, true.
That's the biographically
That's how I feel about
Hillary Clinton. But it's hardly the only Hillary Clinton. During the years she spent in Arkansas, for example, Hillary often played the loyal daughter of the American South, a Southern fried Dixie lady with a spunky feminist twist. That was the character she was portraying when we first met her 30 years ago this month. It was during the 1992 presidential primaries. Listen to her accent here.
Oh no, they're doing this again.
This is not an arrangement or an understanding. This is a marriage. That's a very different thing.
You know, I'm not sitting here as some little woman standing by my man like Tammy Wynette. I'm sitting here because I love him and I respect him and I honor what he's been through and what we've been through together.
You don't hear a hint of Parkeridge, Illinois in that voice. It's all bourbon and okra. Pretty impressive.
Bourbon and okra.
But that's hardly the only persona
Tucker's
in Hillary's
a poet, man.
quiver.
I gotta
She
give it to
contains
him.
multitudes. When she feels like it,
Man
Hillary
is
can
good at what he
transform
does.
herself entirely from a middle-aged rich white lady to a weary
I
but
aspire to
dignified
be
household
Tucker Carlson
domestic
of the
turned
left.
civil rights
That is
protester,
my
bruised
goal.
and battered from a harrowing march across the Edmund Pettus Bridge on the road to freedom. Sometimes Hillary Clinton is just sick and tired.
This stuff has to be
of being
scripted
sick
though.
and
You
tired.
can't freestyle
I don't
like this.
feel
It's
no
too-
ways tired. I come too far from where
Oh, I
I
love it.
started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy. I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me.
I want to see the clip of her just.
It's not a
randomly,
bad
like,
impression.
passing out.
Of course, there are other days when Hillary doesn't talk at all. That's in her repertoire, too. She just points her finger at you and cackles wildly like a mental patient on the subway. For the uninitiated, it can be a disconcerting experience. Is she casting a spell? Is she going to bite me? You're never sure. But her staff isn't worried. They think it's all part of her secret sauce. It's one of the
Oh, you
reasons
gotta play that video
everyone
when they like
loves
open
Hillary.
the balloons and she just starts looking up like
yeah. Oh.
smiling.
It's one of the weirdest
That was
clips I've
weird.
ever seen. Oh, actually, I gotta run that real quick. Come on, show me the video.
What the fuck is that? I forgot about that other clip.
It's like computer shit.
It's
they
like
run
she
an
got her like
algorithm?
Google lenses on or something, bro.
What the fuck?
Here's the cackle routine.
Wouldn't it be insane of you to run for office again?
Is she sitting across from me right now?
Well, I don't know why that's funny. I mean, did you have any in-person briefings? I don't find it funny at all.
How did you kill
this is the
Jeffrey
best one.
Epstein?
It is.
I mean, some of it's just she's just laughing. But
Yeah.
I know what the point
The
is.
damn emails. But there are a lot of people who are not.
Well,
Yeah, she does tend to laugh off difficult questions as if they're
I mean,
too ridiculous to
really,
address.
yes, it deserves a lot of laughter.
It's a smart strategy.
She didn't kill
Yeah.
Jeffrey Epstein. Remember all that?
But I don't think Tucker is exactly the guy to be coming at people for their laughs. That's what he does sometimes.
You've changed your argument.
It's hilarious. Okay.
Anyways,
You're starting to see how the Hillary Clinton phenomenon began in the first place and why it could so easily rekindle. Hillary's political career was always a grassroots movement, a prairie fire, if you will. She had famously brought support from top DNC officials to several billionaire Democratic donors. Ron Burkle came out for Hillary. That's like winning every voter in the state of Ohio, at least from a fundraising perspective. So clearly she's got the mechanics down. How about the issues? What's Hillary going to run on? Come on, think about it. Libya, she's going to run on what she did in the North African nation of Libya. It's the one achievement of her life that's uniquely hers. Her husband had nothing to do with it. As
a weird
Secretary of
take.
State under Obama, Hillary Clinton ordered the killing of Muammar Gaddafi. He was the bloodthirsty Libyan strongman who was also, let's be honest, creepy and weird and therefore deserving of death.
What is he talking about?
what?
Yeah. That should be the most random take I've ever heard in my life.
Dude.
That came out of left field, dude. Jesus.
Alright, yeah, we'll watch this after Tucker.
Then she laughed about it. Watch.
That is the land of unconfirmed witness. We came, we saw, he died. Did it have anything to do with your visit? No, I'm sure it did.
Jeez.
It's kind of a weird thing
We
to say,
came,
for sure.
we saw, he died. Pretty funny. But then what happened? Once Hillary killed the leader of the country, how'd the country do? Well, let's see. We'll tell the story in pictures. Here's the capital of Libya before Hillary Clinton decided to introduce the Libyan people to a little thing we call human rights. The city looks fine, but underneath, there was no freedom. There were too few Soros-backed NGOs. She changed that. Now,
Soros.
here's that same city, post-Hillary. Those people in the foreground are African slaves. They're being sold as property in the now thriving slave markets in downtown Tripoli. No, they don't look very happy, that's true, but at least Gaddafi's gone, so on some level, they're free. They've been liberated by Hillary Clinton, despite the fact they're now enslaved. That's called progress. It's worth something. In fact, it's a pretty good campaign slogan. Hillary 2024. She'll do for us what she did for Libya.
Jesus.
You can imagine
I know,
Oh my
she's
God.
gonna be slaves
Yeah,
in
right?
America again? Oh my God.
Boston Commons just turns into like a prison.
Like, yeah, this is Hillary's America.
It's in coffee mugs. Somebody's going to need to get
This
those
is
slaves to sign a
intense, dude.
consent form. Put that on the list. But all of a sudden, Hillary Clinton,
Look at the
president,
picture.
starting to sound a little less crazy, isn't it? In fact, it's starting to
She'll
sound
never live that
inevitable.
down. She can't be
There's two
president for that
questions left
picture
to answer.
alone, bro.
Why did Hillary lose last time? And who would she
Maybe she
run
was
against
tripping on
2
acid,
years
bro.
from now? Let's take the
I
first
don't,
question
dude,
first.
it's just
It's got the simplest,
performative, I
most
think.
obvious.
Like, I think her whole entire existence has been one long performance for power, and she just goes a little overboard sometimes. Especially
I don't
in her
know though.
older
That
age.
one clip where she literally just like twitches randomly all of a sudden for like 10 seconds.
I'm sure she's on some pretty crazy like amphetamines
Medication?
to keep her going, and yeah, and like who knows what kind of issues she has. It's I don't buy any of this, to be honest. I don't think she's gonna run. I think it's all like. There's
I mean,
two,
the fact that it's like on the media now, like it's gonna start circulating and buzzing, and maybe that is like all Hillary needs to just like, you know, actually want to run again.
So I think it's either one of two things. I think the Clinton machine has a lot of pull in the Democratic establishment. The people you never hear the names of, the operators, the people who run campaigns, shit like that. I think it's either that those people are pushing for her because they, you know, are kind of owned by her, or second, they're like, they are desperate right now, and this is just them kind of slowly testing the waters, seeing if maybe she could be viable. But I think they're gonna see she's very much not, because even like people like my dad are fucking sick of her, and like my dad was like the most avid like Clinton, 2016, like you gotta vote for her, Trump's the antichrist kind of guy. But
yeah, so
I
wouldn't
think
it be
over
a
these past
repeat
few
of that
years
again? Like, don't you think your dad would still vote for
he would
Hillary
still vote
over
for her.
Trump?
He would. But the fact that someone like him has even like been swayed that Hillary and even, I mean, Biden's kind of radicalized like my dad, and I'm sure a lot of people like him in a lot of ways. Like he's just he's doing so bad. Like there's just no defense. Like, all right, is he better than what Trump could have been, like pushing the country towards fascism? Like I guess, but not by much. And you just you lose that argument very quickly.
I feel the country pretty much lost 4 years, bro. It's just going to be a deadbeat presidency, nothing accomplished whatsoever.
Yeah, pretty much. And this is
like, honestly,
we're
I'd like
repeating
to
the
just
pattern
even
of
see
Obama.
I'd love to see even some legislation pass, even if it's Democratic legislation. Just, can we pass something, please, guys? Anything.
Yeah. I mean, Toby just said in chat, who can centrist Democrats run that'll win? I think the problem is that we got to get over this lie that the Republicans will work with anybody. Like, if they won't work with Joe Biden, the most far right person you could be without just being a straight up Republican, like fucking God, who's the guy that Trump hates? Ran for president, Romney. You know, like a step to the right, and Biden is Romney. In fact, I would almost say Romney might be a little more progressive on certain issues. like I could see Romney maybe being okay with legalizing weed or something like that. You know, I don't know if that's true or not, but my point is that like the lie of centrism is over. You know, like no one's gonna buy that anymore. I just don't see it. It's like we can't even get half or two of the Democratic senators to like agree with a moderate like infrastructure bill. Infrastructure was always supposed to be the thing that everybody agreed on. Like Republicans, Democrats, everyone was like, yeah, infrastructure is important. That's something we need to invest in to have like a decent country. Like even rich people ride the bus from time to time, and it might as well be like a nice bus for everybody. Like,
I just feel like there's been such a deadlock for so long that politics is just all about like, oh, I'm in power. I don't actually have to get anything done. I just have my power. That's politics.
Toby just said that in chat. He said, honestly, though, do Dems want to be in power? They might stand to make more money when Republicans hold the power. And I do think, whether explicitly and like maliciously or not, I think the incentive structure is there for that. So whether they're like planning like, yeah, we gotta lose so that way, or we gotta be bad so that way we can keep making money off fear mongering about Trump or the Republicans, I think it's just kind of more implicitly motivated in that direction, where they're like, yeah, we don't really, if we don't do well, then we can have rallying points next time around. You know, like, oh, we didn't do well because of the Republicans, and we gotta stop them by not doing anything again a second time. You know, like I think
I don't know
if
if they necessarily would ever like actually want to lose like a re-election.
No, I just don't think that's what I mean. I don't think it's like necessarily this big conspiracy as much as just where the incentives lead people. They're not entirely incentivized to like bring radical change that actually benefits the country. They're more incentivized to just kind of keep things the way they are and not move too far in either direction, not really have anything change that much. And I think that is a huge driver, unfortunately. It'd almost be better if it was like a big conspiracy, because then you could just like stop the bad actors. But I think the only way to stop something like this is to change the incentive structure, which is a much bigger ask, to be honest. If you can prove corruption, you know, you can just show people taking payoffs to like fall in the fight, then that's easy. You just arrest them, then boom, we fixed it. But when it's a systematic like incentives thing, it's so much harder to bring the kind of change needed to fix things. Like, veto-proof majority is 60%, so lobbyists would pay a fuck ton to Sinema or Pelosi to pass Republican legislation. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's also the I sent this to Josh earlier today. I sent this to you. The ratchet system. That's a huge part of it too. Like, we definitely have a system that is pushing our political spectrum to the right, and now what's considered centrist is really like considered far right by any like objective measure of the political spectrum.
So the whole political shift has gone right, is what you're saying?
Oh, 100%. Like, Bernie's considered a radical leftist, where in like most European countries they would call him a centrist. Like, he doesn't even want to nationalize the healthcare system. That's like the far left position, is like, no, all people who work in the healthcare system are government employees paid for by taxes. He just wants to like single payer. He just wants, you know, we all pay for private healthcare in the same pot to like, you know, spread the burden around, which is kind of like, that is the center between fully privatized or fully nationalized. But we've shifted so far in this country that now, again, and they keep doing it every time. They're calling Biden a fucking radical leftist. So now even his like milquetoast liberal ideology is now considered like radical far leftism. And someone like Rand Paul is now considered like a, you know, a reasonable Republican, or Dick Cheney is getting honored by Democrats as like, oh, remember the good old days of Republicans? Like, it's crazy. Yeah, doing nothing is considered far left, for real.
I like that.
Yeah, I just don't get it. Like, if we lived in an honest political system, like, people like Tucker would be like, Joe Biden is the best thing to ever happen to our party, and God bless him. I pray for him every night. Like,
I mean, I honestly feel like they do kind of say that. Like, I'll hear commentators come on Fox News and say, like, Joe Biden is the best thing that's ever happened to Republicans. I think they realize that.
Yeah, but they do kind of sell it as not because he's stopping radical left agendas, but because he's showing the people he said he was a centrist, but he's showing the American people what a radical leftist look like. And it's only by the might of the Republicans that we've been able to hold him at bay. Like, they're not really selling it like, yeah, he's not doing shit and he's bending to Joe Manchin.
I feel like what they try to say is, I don't think they try to say that he is far left. They say that he's controlled by the far left, that he's like limited to what he can do because of the far left on the Democratic side. You know what I mean?
I guess, but like, even that's what I mean though. It's like, if anything, he's controlling the far left, I would say. Like, the far left has completely been cucked by Biden. Like, there's just no movement. And instead we have Manchin and Sinema pretty much running the show, and everyone, like, objectively, they are the most far right Democrats. They are the quote unquote centrist Dems. But to me, they're no different than your average Republican.
What do you think about this whole filibuster debacle thing?
The filibuster is undemocratic. There's no doubt about it. Our founding fathers did not intend to have a filibuster. It's a loophole in the system that probably should be patched up. I think it's kind of dumb.
I mean, it's not like one party utilizes it more than the other. I feel like it's something that both parties both use to their advantage when the time comes.
Yes, and that's why it's just like, I think it's fair play to just kind of, if there's a way to get rid of it that's reasonable, I'm for it. I haven't looked into it too much. I saw some buzz around it recently, but again, I have zero confidence that it will be changed, because it does kind of benefit both parties. And, you know, it's, as Toby said in the chat here, it's an excuse to do nothing for both parties and maintain that status quo.
Honestly, that's why they want it. It is an excuse to do nothing.
Because there's never going to be a time when we get a 60% majority in the Senate. That's just, even after, I think it's going to be bad in 2022 for the Democrats. Like, that, they're not even, it's going to be like the Republicans have a chance to get like a slight 1 or 2 person majority. It's never going to be a 60-40.
Crazy.
So, like, to have a barrier of that.
I mean, I don't know though. Could it be 60-40 in 2022, bro? I don't know.
No. It's I mean, there's not a chance because not all senators are up for election every 2 years. It like rotates.
Yeah, but a lot are resigning though. A lot of Democrats are like resigning early or something. I heard, or leaving their seats.
I still don't. I mean, okay, at most, I would say maybe they could swing like a 10 person lead, which would be insane. That would be absolutely insane.
Can we look up how many Democrats are leaving at the end of this term, or resigning, or how many seats are going to be open?
Is there any like easy chart I can look at?
Joe Biden, wake up.
Whoops. Just hit my Joe Biden wake up button by accident there. Probably, oh yeah, Ballotopedia is good.
So hypothetically, say Republicans hold all of their seats and gain 10 of the 14.
I think that would be an insane number because I think some of these are like shoo-in. Like New York's probably, I mean, I don't see Schumer. He's just too politically entrenched. I mean, I think Vermont, well, actually, I guess Vermont kind of has some, I would say out of Vermont and New Hampshire, at least one of them's going to stay blue. I don't think they'd both flip. Connecticut would be a tough flip. I don't know much about Maryland. Georgia could definitely flip. Well, I guess, hold on. They have predictions. All right. Solid D. Lean D. Battleground, lean D. Vermont, solid D. Look at Philadelphia. Or PA, Pennsylvania. This one is red, but it says toss-up, Battleground, Republican, toss-up.
This is just for the Senate or the House?
Good question. These are Senate, 2022 Senate elections.
Aren't there more than... Oh, yeah, no. So it's 34 states would be highlighted, yeah.
Yeah. Alaska, solid R. Hawaii, solid D. Arizona's a toss-up. Arizona could definitely... I hear Mark Kelly is pretty popular, but they're saying here toss-up and Battleground Democratic toss-up. Nevada's definitely a toss-up. California's solid D, though. So, what's that?
How many blue states?
How many blue states could flip? Should we count that? I'll even give this one. I'll say maybe New Hampshire could flip. That's one. Because they're saying lean D, but I'm going to assume that it actually is worse than people think because Joe Biden is just that bad. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Really only 4 states where they have much of a chance to flip.
Okay, and then what would that put the majority at? Still not 60-40?
If they flipped 4, that would put them 2 ahead, I think, right? Because aren't the Democrats are actually like it's like 50-50 right now, if I'm not mistaken, with because they would still need, even after Warnock and the other guy who won, Ossoff. They still need.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's 50-50 right now.
Kamala Harris is a tie-breaking vote. Well.
Yeah, if they flip 4, but let's look at the Republican. I mean, a lot of these are going to be solid R for sure, but there might be a few states that could flip.
That's my guy, Ossoff.
Yo, what up, bro?
What's going on?
Yo, what's that show called? You Gabe? Is it Burning Points that you watch?
Breaking Points.
Yo, they mentioned unusual whales, bro.
Yeah, I saw that.
You saw that skit, dude? I haven't watched
I haven't watched the episode on it, but I saw Crystal, the female host, tweet about it.
Yeah, like the male guy, I don't know his name, but he said unusual whales on the segment.
Yeah.
What a time. I've been watching Unusual Whales. Like, he literally has he literally made a Pelosi ETF that he has on his website.
I saw that.
And it shows you all of her holdings. Like, he's been exposing the numbers and the facts on all that for a long... I've been following it for literally all the past year at least.
Yeah, no, I've heard of the account before. The account's definitely huge, and what he just released is honestly a piece of like real journalism.
Who?
I think he's gonna get mentioned in like Senate investigations, unusual whales.
Oh, you talking about that bar graph that he released, like with all the names? It was like highest.
I saw that he had a list of all of these like senators and House members who have made like suspicious trades in the past year.
Oh yeah, he's been. I mean, if they do that, they'll be looking into his everything that he posts. He exposes like the facts on that like almost daily. Like he's got tons of data for that, and he's got like down to the names and the numbers and what stocks they bought and what bills were passed on what dates. Like he literally has everything on it. He might have to testify before Congress, bro.
It could happen, yeah.
And which is crazy because I don't think anyone's ever seen his face before. I don't think anyone knows who that is.
No, he's incognito for sure.
It's just a picture of a whale.
Oh, Toby sent me a pic.
Like I've been in a space call with him before, but I want to say he didn't even speak. Like I don't know if anyone's heard his voice either.
Yeah, here's the Toby just sent me the graph he released. Members of Congress that beat what is that? The SPY?
Yeah, beat the SPY. It's like the ETF for the whole stock market.
Okay. Damn, who is it? Austin Scott, Brian Mast, French Hill. Who the fuck? Dan Crenshaw, right up there with Nancy Pelosi. God bless him. David McKinney. Any other names I really recognize on here? Mo Brooks, I know him. Oh, S&P 500. Okay, I didn't know that's how it was spelled. Mitch McConnell doing pretty well for himself. I don't think I really recognize any of these other names off the top of my head. They must be a lot of House members. House members still... That's still bad, especially like Nancy Pelosi, who's such a like, you know, House Speaker. She's like a ranking member in the House, but you know, your average like House member might just be kind of like a guy, you know, just who has a good investment broker or something. Senate, I definitely think it pushes it too far.
Would Toby send you like the graph would like showing the bars at the top 25 or top 50?
Yeah. But we were just actually looking at the I just lost it. We were looking at the possible makeup of the Senate post 2022, and getting to my original question here, it looks like there's only 2 red states that are really toss up at all. And again, with Biden's performance, I don't have much confidence that if it's a toss up, maybe you could flip Pennsylvania. I'd have to look more into it. So many of these are just solid R. Wisconsin, lean R, I guess, but yeah, we could see a very different Senate. Again, they don't have anyone they can lose, so like you flip one of those and it's over.
Yeah, and it's not like they have a solid 50-50 either. Like, I think the Democrats technically have 48 Democrats and 2 independents. So that is where the 50-50 is.
I think, is that true? I know Bernie's an independent, but I thought the other
independent. And then Joe Manchin.
Oh, is he independent?
Yeah.
I actually didn't know that. I thought he was a Democrat. I mean that I'll give him some credit there.
President Manchin.
At least he's not pretending to be a Democrat.
I mean, I could be wrong. I could have sworn there were 2 independents.
I don't think
the Manchin crime family.
Joe Manchin, Joe Biden, wake up.
Joe Biden, wake up.
Toby says he's a registered Dem. That's what I thought.
Okay.
I think there is another independent. I think it might be Rand Paul, isn't it?
Nah, he's definitely a Republican.
Is he? I thought he was like a libertarian, so he identified as. I don't even know where. Oh no, R Kentucky, yeah.
Angus King from Maine.
From Maine, okay.
That
I
makes
think
sense,
he's
but
pretty
yeah.
much considered a Republican though.
Yeah, that's crazy. You would think Maine would be like pretty Republican.
Oh, Ron Paul was independent, not Rand. Okay, yeah. Well, it's just they should have learned this lesson last time. You know, when Obama had he had a better Senate, House, and you know, executive majority. And he's still, the best he could do was Obamacare, which again was a Republican think tank idea for how to fund Medicare. And that's how, I think that's how we got Trump, you know, like the failures of the Democrats to get anything good done for the American people. But then kind of like condescendingly virtue signal down to people as if they're the superiors. Toby's pushing to watch this Joe Rogan learns he's wrong and can't accept it video. I'm definitely interested.
I heard he's in some trouble, Joe Rogan.
Dude, he's gone off the fucking deep end. I defended that dude for a long time, but he's just a fucking nutso.
Like, what are we getting this from? Was this from
Well,
the VAERS report? But even...
So I have an incredible clip to share with you from the Joe Rogan Experience podcast. He had on Josh.
I always forget
Zepps,
about this guy. I like this guy, David Dole.
Used to work for HuffPost.
Really
Was their
content
HuffPost
very
Live
often.
guy. I'm not sure what he does now, but he was on the show. He's fairly, you know, regular, liberal kind of dude. But clearly he knows a little bit more than Joe Rogan does about the vaccines. So you're going to watch here Joe Rogan get fact-checked in real time, realize he is wrong.
Jamie pulled it
yet
up.
Is unable to accept it. Watch this.
For young boys in particular, there's an adverse risk associated with the vaccine. It's like a 2 to 4 fold increase in the instances of myocarditis.
Yes, but you know what?
Hospitalization.
You know that there's an
COVID.
increased risk of myocarditis among that age cohort from getting COVID as well, which exceeds the risk of myocarditis from the vaccine.
I don't think that's true. I don't think
It
it's
is.
true. No. I don't think it's true that there's an increased risk of myocarditis from people catching COVID that are young versus increased risk of myocarditis from the vaccine.
No, there is.
Buddy.
There's both.
Well, let's look that up because I don't think that's true.
There's both.
Myocarditis is
Yo,
more
what a
common after
Chad, bro. Just
COVID-19
looking him
infection
dead
than
in the eye. Just
vaccination.
like,
But is this
nah,
with
you're wrong, bro.
Yeah, we're talking about
with
young people.
Men and boys aged under 30 after this is what it says.
Come on, Jamie.
With children is the issue.
Your only hope.
Well, no, we were talking about 15-year-olds.
Well, we're talking
Jamie
about
Wan
young
Kenobi.
children.
Male
So, yes.
child, 12 to 17.
12 to 17 more likely to develop myocarditis within 3 months of catching COVID at a rate of 450 cases per million infection. This compares to 67 cases of myocarditis per million at the same time following their second dose of Pfizer.
Yeah, so you're about 8 times likelier to get myocarditis from getting COVID than from getting the vaccine.
Which again was something that people were getting before COVID too. There was a percentage of the population who developed it, whether it's from, we don't necessarily know if it's from our diet, the chemicals in our fucking food and shit, like, you know, whatever. There is an already in, if it's 67 post-vaccine, that number might be like 65 in the regular population.
Yeah, it's hard to
that is
differentiate.
not what I've read before, but also it's like even when we're reading these things, it's like really getting this.
See, again,
This
it's like,
VAERS report.
what do you choose to believe and what do you choose to doubt? Because you can find, like, you can always find
Anything.
an article that agrees with what you already want to believe, but like,
Exactly.
Even from the VAERS reports, when they report this stuff, it's like the amount of people that report it's the underreporting.
All right. So I will get
That wasn't
to
as bad
the
as I
facts
thought.
on this. There's been multiple studies on this showing that Rogan
I don't
is
really need to
wrong.
listen to this guy.
Just quickly there in the last part, he mentions
I
VAERS.
don't really
I've
like this
discussed
guy's
this number.
voice. Kind of a weird thing with that guy's voice. Kind of annoys me.
yeah, I've only ever seen him like on other people's shows, like he'll guest star.
Is he really popular? It must
I
be.
wouldn't say like really popular, but he's got, you know, about 500,000 subscribers.
Damn. Like his voice doesn't sound like appealing to listen to.
He's kind of got that NPR voice going on. I can't remember if this, no, this is just his channel. That's right. I'm thinking of another similar channel that has like a few different hosts, but I think this is just him. He's not my favorite either. I like more entertaining people. He's a little more like just kind of serious. Ooh, this is pretty big news.
What is it?
Bro, I think Rogan and our conspiracy had me psyching myself into convincing myself I got myocarditis from the vaccine. I can believe that. I was kind of feeling in 2020, especially after Michael Brooks passed so suddenly, I kept having like weird psychological things, thinking that maybe I had gotten COVID and I didn't know, and I had like long COVID because I'd like feel like maybe my heart was racing a little more. It was probably just because I was smoking a lot of weed, but
Dude, something I have noticed too, like after COVID, like I don't know if it's just me being out of shape, but I feel like I get winded very easily now. Like just
bro,
walking around the house, like I
don't
walked
tell
to
me
the
that,
convenience store, came back, dude, and I just like was completely out of breath.
dude, that's what I'm
nah, bro.
talking about, bro.
Don't kill me with that.
That's what scares me about getting
You
COVID.
sound no.
Jeez, bro.
Bro, I feel like
Shut it down. Shut it down.
Media, bro. Here we go. A new symptom of COVID, feeling winded.
Dude, that's not a new symptom.
exercise.
That's
That's
not
a
new.
common
That's
symptom.
long
It's
COVID,
very
bro.
common.
That's what they've been talking about. Like, again, I would fall for the Republican rhetoric a lot more if there was never any a sign of like people having symptoms long term, or the neurological shit. The neurological shit fucks with me too. The fact that you like, have you lost your sense of taste and smell at all?
Oh, no,
I didn't
Paul
ask you
did
that.
though.
Paul did.
Yeah, but no. The thing is this: if you already don't exercise, you're gonna be winded, bro. That's just the point blank.
But if you notice
we're
a
not
difference,
doing that, bro.
though,
No, it's definitely worse. Like
That's
way
what
worse.
Oh, bro.
saying,
It's.
bro.
Are you sure?
Like if I try to take, you know, when you have to go to the doctor's office and they ask you to like take a deep breath. When I do that, I feel like I got cold air in my lungs. Like it kind of like has that slight sting to it. Like my lung capacity is definitely not where it was. And it's not like I'm
breaking
not out of
news.
shape, bro. Like I've
Water
actually
is
lost
wet.
weight. Like there's no reason for me to be huffing and puffing. Just walking to the convenience
CDC,
store and come back.
post-COVID conditions. I've heard stories that people like walking up the stairs, like athletes, like not just people who like maybe haven't worked out in a while, but like straight up athletes.
Yeah, a lot of basketball players have said it.
Difficulty
like they just feel
breathing,
kind of winded
shortness
and
of breath,
gassed.
tiredness or fatigue, symptoms that get worse after physical or
But you could
mental
be
activities.
you could be deconditioned though, Josh. That's you could have that at our age. I have that.
Yeah, I definitely could be like running more. I don't know.
No, I'm saying deconditioning. That's like when you don't exercise for a long period of time. Then when you start to like do things again, you start to feel winded and you feel like it's a lot harder. Like deconditioning. It's like talk to my doctor about it.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. It just feels like my lungs feel different. You know what I mean?
You sure you're not smoking the bong, bro? Like too much?
You said you stopped.
Honestly, I haven't smoked the bong in the
That's
grip,
what
bro.
I'm saying, bro. But keep an eye on that and talk to your doctor, man. Like for real.
But I feel fine now. It's just like if I try to do something like slightly that requires me to like walk more than a half a mile, get a little winded. I mean, what are they gonna do though? You know, I'll tell my doctor this. What are they gonna prescribe me?
They're gonna tell you have COVID.
Toby's yelling at you in the chat.
Who's yelling at me?
No, Toby's yelling at Keys.
Toby's delusional, bro. What's he yelling at me about? Don't want to pull up, bro. What's he yelling at me?
He's telling you to pull up. He's like, yo, get in this chat right now.
Bro, what is there to yell about? If you don't exercise, you could easily be winded. I don't understand what's the argument.
It's just there is long COVID too. That's the argument.
Yeah, I get that, but it's just that you like, to my knowledge, Josh be flopping quite a bit. Quite a bit, bro. So
I'm inside of my house on my couch, flopped 99% of the day, bro.
Huh?
That is factual. I am flopped inside of the crib 99% of the time.
It's called getting fat.
Right. So it's and we're getting older. Like it's not uncommon to fucking get deconditioned like that. It's not like
look, bro. If you have changes in your menstrual period cycles, then definitely
aren't even healthy, bro. It's nonsense.
Like Gabe, guys, if I were to like take a deep breath, like inhale, like I almost feel like I gotta cough like at the end of that. Like I can't take a deep inhale without like slightly maybe having to cough.
Josh, I think I need to get you into a gym session, bro. That's what you need.
Nah, there's no gym.
They get you on the treadmill, bro.
The gym is banned. I'm not getting COVID again, bro.
You got to get yourself a VR headset, bro. That's what I've been working out with.
Yeah,
COVID's not blowing around down Winter Beach, bro. It's I be in the air.
It's highly ventilated.
All those old people living in winter, bro. I think you're surrounded by it.
Nah, they already died, bro.
90% of the winter population is over 75, bro.
I haven't seen a car drive in winter in about 6 months, bro.
Everybody over there drives about 10 miles per hour, bro. It might as well be the most COVID-infested city in Massachusetts.
The average age of a winter resident has to be about 85, bro.
Oh, no. Is there even anybody your age, bro, in your neighborhood?
Nah. Closest thing to my age is probably a dog walking down the street.
You're probably surrounded by COVID, bro. It's just blowing through the air at this point.
Well, luckily my windows are closed at all times.
Oh, I'm dying. The tears coming down.